Before I get started, I got a special Latin message for myself. I showed this album just a second ago. Ishmael Miranda, butchered the names, butchered all that. There's a picture of him. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and for Mother's Day, he put out a bunch of songs from YouTube that were Latin songs that mentioned mother. And Joe Acosta had just passed away about a month and a half ago, and he had a song called A Mi Madre, and I posted that on his Facebook wall, and he posted it back to me on my Facebook wall and thanked me, and that meant the world to me, that an artist that I know and love, I was able to show him something, and then he was able to thank me for it, because he was posting all these mother related songs on his wall, and just the fact, it just means a lot to me. Warms my cockles, warms my heart, and the fact that that artist had just passed away, and that he was nice enough to post me back, and not in a way that I was being contriving or being a dickhead or whatever, showing you how did you forget that this man just died and he had a Mother's Day type song. Anyway, real quick, warms my heart. Addendum also. I didn't open up this. This is the Pentangle. I forgot to mention they had an incredible female singer. Don't remember her name. Didn't look it up, but I wanted you guys to recognize, and for myself to recognize, that they have an incredible female singer. And this Demons and Wizards, note to myself, they gave this to me at the garage sale because they couldn't get it open, had water damage, so I took it home with a razor and cut it through and was able to open it up. This is Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards. Love Uriah Heep. Let me pick up these records. Glad I didn't get too many of them because I'm already at 2 minutes. Red Rubber Ball by The Circle, late 60s. Do not be discouraged by the cover of this album. This is great. A little bit psychedelic, mostly pop, real short songs, but great. The name of the band is called The Circle. The name of the album is Red Rubber Ball. It's on Columbia. If you find this, it's very findable. It's good. Whew, not gonna like that sound in the video. Machine. This is a funk disco type band, late 70s. This album's worth money. Main reason why I picked it up. Not saying that I don't like it. I listened to it once and it was good, but if I see anything that's Jimmy Smith. Almost said Joe Williams. If I see anything that's Jimmy Smith, I pick it up. He's almost my favorite jazz musician. He's an organ player. His live albums are absolutely they're amazing. I mean, they are absolutely amazing. He almost always plays with a three-piece. He does the bass stuff with his own hand over towards the side. And, this is just something I picked up just because it was Jimmy Smith. Picked it up cheap, and I love Jimmy Smith. One of my favorite artists of all times, one of my favorite jazz artists of all times. I mean, the dude does some amazing stuff, so heartfelt. He was a piano player that sat himself in a warehouse for a couple months, learned how to play organ, and came out of that thing just steaming. And he rolls. I'm so glad to just have a Soft Machine album. I didn't pay very much for this. Soft Machine is what is called, is it Canterbury or is it Krautrock? Anyway, it's jazz to me. They call it Krautrock. To me, it's jazz. It sounds just like some kind of progressive jazz, but it sounds a lot like the Blue Note. It sounds a lot like late 60s, early 70s jazz, and normally doesn't have a piano player. They normally do that with a Moog or with a synthesizer or something like that. Sorry about the glare. But Soft Machine is really good. I mean, I listen to them like crazy. Their first 6 or 7 albums are Soft Machine first, Soft Machine second, Soft Machine third. This is Soft Machine Volume 2. I guess they call them different things. But anyway, I think fourth is my favorite one. Third is the most popular. It's a double album. Fourth is a single album. I think it's my favorite. But I can't remember the names of the musicians. Wish I could. But this stuff is just good. It's just good. And it's refreshing to hear jazz that isn't, rootsy type jazz. It's just white guys from another country playing the same kind of stuff, and it just sounds really good. That's the best I can explain it. Here's another Circle. I must have picked this up as a set. Neon. I think the other one's better. Red Rubber Ball. I think that came out before this, if I remember correctly. Don't sleep on this. If you find it for $1 at a garage sale, pick it up. It's somewhat psychedelic pop music from the 60s. You'd be amazed at how good it is. Here's an ECM that I picked up somewhere along the way, but actually, I guess it's not ECM. We don't know. It's Polydor, must have been a sub company, and then there's ECM up there. But I recognize, you know, all these players. Keith Jarrett is super popular piano player, just a super improvisationalist, and John Christensen is a guitar player. This is a really good album. You know, you can find this stuff cheap. You can pick it up. You can listen to it. It's always incredible, and I've said this before, incredible sound quality. Even if you decide that you don't like the music, you got to have it just for the incredible sound quality of it. I mean, it sounds like it was, when you listen to it on a good stereo, it sounds like you're there. Donovan, I've mentioned folk music. This guy is a folk musician from the UK, and when I find this stuff, I pick it up because I like it a lot. He reminds me a lot of Bob Dylan, and he is known as the British Bob Dylan. It's really good stuff, folk music, really good. No Jacket Required, Phil Collins. I showed a Phil Collins earlier, and I almost like this one better. You know, I'm going to show you this goofy freaking picture of him, but it's got that song, Billy, Billy, don't you lose my number. That song I love to death for whatever reason. It just does it for me. One more night, studio. I listened to this song so much when I was a kid. I talked about it earlier, just how much Phil Collins music means to me. Yeah, it's Phil Collins. That's his face. He puts his face on his albums, which is funny because me and my mom went through the library trying to find a picture of him, spent hours trying to find one because I was just so into his music. Here's a Pink Floyd, The Wall. I mean, not The Wall, but Dark Side of the Moon. What can you say about this album? No, I don't have the poster. It's kind of stuck together. I mean, you can find it. You can find this album fairly easy. It's not my favorite Pink Floyd album, but it's still an incredible album. I don't want to really reveal what my favorite ones are, but you know, I guess I could reveal what my favorite song on here is. It's probably Any Color You Like, either that or Us and Them, which Us and Them was a repurposed song from an earlier song that they did, but huge Pink Floyd, you know, fan. These albums, this one in The Wall, my parents had, played them over and over again. A lot of meaning, but I come to find out that there's better music out there. Not much better, but better progressive rock, and yeah. I found this at one of those places that has kiosks in it. I don't know what they're called, but big ass freaking buildings with kiosks in it. The people aren't there, and they just sell records. Bought it for $5, and they would discount me 20%. I probably showed a couple albums that I got from there, but this is Marillion, and the name of it's Fugazi. They are a clone of Genesis. They sound a lot like Genesis. This is not, this is the Fish Air. Fish was a singer for them. And then after that, it was Stephen Hogarth. I think this may have been the last Fish one. And which one's my favorite one? It's the one that's got Kaylee on it and Garden Party. Misplaced Childhood. That's my favorite Marillion album. Do I like them that much? Yeah, I like them, but they're no Genesis. They do sound like Genesis, but they're just not as good. But I do like them. I don't want to, I'm glad that they exist, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm certainly glad that they exist. I mean, they do sound like Genesis, Capitol label, and they're good. Their songs are long, Clutching at Straws is good. They're good, people, I see people on the internet talk about them a lot. They have their fans, and there's people out there that are Genesis fans that swear by Marillion. This is the last one I'm going to show, and everybody knows this album. This is Highway to Hell. This is the last one with Bon Scott, and then it was Back in Black. Not a whole lot I can say about this. You know, do I like it? Yeah, I like it. I like AC/DC. My favorite album by them was Power Ridge, and that's probably because it doesn't have any hits on it. And Let There Be Rock. A Whole Lot of Rosie, that song. Out of all their popular songs, that's my favorite. But this album, you know, you just heard these songs so many times. If you want blood, You've Got It is one of my favorites. Night Prowler is one of my favorites. And Shot Down in Flames is one of my favorites. But the ones that are kind of hits, you know, they just, I've heard them so many times, maybe they kind of wear on me. That's it, guys. Enjoyed it.